Good morning. Welcome back to the farm. The snow is melting very quickly and it is warm out. Today's overcast though. I wish the sun would pop out because then the snow would be gone. Today we are going off the farm and we are going to a local wool mill, a small local wool mill where we actually brought some of our fleeces, and she's going to show us what to do for after our sheep are sheared, probably before our sheep are sheared, because like I said, we know nothing about the wool side of our sheep. And so she's going to show us what to do so that processing it for her is easier and it's cheaper for us so that we're not having to pay those extra fees for cleaning and all that kind of stuff. So I figured it would be fun to bring you along and show you what she says. She did say that all processors are different. I don't think it's processors, mills. All mills are different in what they want and what they require. And so I thought it would be fun to bring you with and show you what she says. When you're shearing the sheep, most of the time it comes off kind of in one big piece. And I thought you wanted to keep it like that, and you actually don't. So the first step of the process is first off testing to see if there's any breakage. Ours didn't have any. And so you kind of snap the wool in between your fingers, and if it's not a good quality, it'll break. When it's a really good quality, it makes this kind of like snapping sound. And so she showed me how to do that, and then she showed me the things that you want to keep and don't keep in the fleece itself. So you want to take out any like poop, any matted areas, any areas that have burrs, which we didn't have anything like that. So but we went through and we actually skirted all 5 of our fleece that we brought to her. So in this step, what she does is this person who she was processing this wool for likes to have all of their sheep's fleeces stay separate so that they know what sheep that comes from. And so she takes each one and she puts them in these tubs and she soaks them in cold water, no soap, no nothing like that, for 2 days. And then she has a commercial size salad spinner and she spins them in the salad spinner to get all of the excess water off. She does that twice. And then that way they should be pretty clean, pretty, most of the really yucky stuff comes out. After that, she then washes it in a washing machine, and she has the drain hooked up so that she can see the color of the discharge. And so she will wash them in the washing machine as long as it takes. She said it's usually 2 sets of a wash and then 2 rinses. So she does 2 soaks in the cold water, which is like a 4-day process. And then she does 2 sets of 1 wash with 2 rinses in the washing machine. And she said that the water is really, really good for a fertilizer for like putting on her gardens, that kind of stuff, because it's all vegetable matter and dirt. It's kind of like a compost tea, and it works really well in her garden. So after the fleeces are washed and cleaned, then she sets them on this rack to dry, and they just air dry. She does have a fan blowing on it, like an oscillating fan, so that it gets airflow, and airflow is moving, but it's not going to cause any shrinkage or any damage like that. So just a gentle flow so that they can air dry. I think that I would be able to do the skirting and the washing and the drying at home. It would save us a lot of money because we're not paying her to do it, or whoever we send our wool to. But then also I could use that water and use as a fertilizer on pastures or in my garden or whatever. So that is an idea that I am thinking about. Next, she puts it through a machine that makes the cloud, and it goes really fast and gets rid of all the vegetable matter, and it separates all the fibers of the raw wool. This is cleaned but raw, and then this is the cloud, and so that's what we would use for the the base of our dryer balls. The final step of this process that we're gonna be doing this year, or at this point with this fleece, is she makes roving out of it. So she puts it in this machine, and it has a whole bunch of little tiny like teeth on it, like super, super fine, tiny, and it spins it. It takes and it makes it, all the fibers are going the same direction, and it puts it almost into a big long tube or string. The final step for us is that she's going to make it into roving, and so that's going to go on the outside of the dryer balls. The inside is going to be the cloud, and we start kind of felting that, and then we put the roving on the outside of that cloud. That was really interesting, and I learned a lot. I'm so glad I went. I learned how to skirt, and I learned kind of like what to look for in fleece as far as breakage goes, and matting. None of ours had burrs or anything like that. So there was one that had like a crunchy liquid kind of on part of its fleece, and she thought it would wash out, but if not, she'll discard it. But she was hoping that it would wash out. She said sometimes that happens if we get like a big rain or something, and then they lay in a certain area. It just kind of sometimes happens. She did show us all of the parts of the process because she is a small wool mill, and then she has like a felting machine, a wet filter, and so she showed us all of those, and I gave her some of my ideas for things I would like to do, and she thought that sounded pretty cool. She might have just been appeasing me. And then she showed me how to skirt our fleeces, kind of what to look for, what to pick out, what to include, not include, that kind of stuff. Did you learn anything, Beck?
Well, there's many things you can use wool for.
There are. Yep. So I am pretty excited now. We actually shear a week from today. So I have a way in my mind that I can easily kind of set things up for shearing to make things better along the way. I think that now that I have this next step kind of completed, I'll be able to start utilizing our wool and our fleece. And oh, they even do tanning. So that was really nice too, because we have some pelts in our freezer, and so we are going to stop at Tractor Supply on the way home and get some salts so we can get them salted. And then they said that they'd be willing to tan them for us. So I'm really excited about that. So that is it for today's video. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys next time.